There are other news podcasts, there are even other German news podcasts, but there aren't that many German news podcasts that cushion the impact of the news with the gentle glow of a canned cocktail. This week, a new lockdown brings new lockdown protests, the Bundeswehr loses its guns, and the CDU leadership contest is going on longer than the US election count. We're back.
Let's go, are we ready?
Yeah!
Yay! I'm excited. We haven't done this for ages.
So much to catch up on.
Bloody ages. God.
Have you started already?
I don't know.
Have you done it?
Maybe that is the intro. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Megan's Megacan. Our first episode in quite a while. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm here with Konrad. Konrad Werner. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. So much has changed in the last few days and weeks.
Yeah.
In the landscape of the world.
Yes, even more than we would have thought.
Pennsylvania has still not been called, so there's no actual winner, but could happen at any moment.
It's a long process, and I don't want to detract from the really hard work of lots of people who are doing a really important job counting, but do you need a hand? I could have had the kids doing it today. We could have been counting some ballots. Wowee.
Well, you know.
There's that going on.
There's a lot more votes than there's more votes than have ever been cast in America.
There are.
It takes ages.
Yeah, but let's hope it's going to go a disappointing but not catastrophic way. As in, Biden's not the president I wanted. Kamala's not the VP I wanted. But no one asked me.
No one asked.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it?
There were lots of people they did ask, and then they just sort of ignored them, I think.
Yeah.
Alcohol?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that, considering the news, our news podcast involves booze. I'm so grateful for that fact.
It's never come at a better time.
It really hasn't. And exciting news, we have a brand new Megacan on the market, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. It is and I'm slightly trepidatious about this. It's a Jim Beam honey and ginger ale. I'm excited about the ginger ale. I'm not excited about the honey. Bourbon is sweet enough. What are we putting fucking honey in it for, lads?
I guess this is flu season.
Nobody asked
Megacans.
me. It is a flu season Megacan. It's honey and ginger.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the little thing of ginger and lemons that we have in our staff kitchen, as if to make up for the fact that we're all coming to work every day in a global pandemic. That'll do it.
Yeah, cheers. Oh yeah, okay, good. I just bought a ginger mouthwash from Listerine.
Is that what this is? The connotations of this you're bringing?
Well, I just think that I think a lot of brands are doing honey ginger type variations for this season.
Because we're all thinking about cold and flu.
But
this is not bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's good. I think it's actually probably good that we can't see the colour of it inside.
I often think that about Megacans. And sometimes I wonder, what if I discover suddenly that they're all this kind of fluorescent green?
Sort of like
I just
cat wee.
Rotted my insides. I like this. It's very similar to the Jack Daniels and ginger, to be honest. It's just a bit sweeter. But it's nice for these times.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's fine.
It's the first time we've had a new one that's not been disgusting, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. So
all right, that's solid, I would say, 3 out of 5 for this one.
Good 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that point system.
We do mainly want to talk about Germany today. Obviously, there's so much shit happening in the news literally all of the time. I mean, by the time we've not been checking our phones just to even talk about the news, something else mental will have happened. So we'll be behind the times by the time we've even finished. I would like to just call out our neighbours here in Poland, which, as I'm sure a lot of people have known, their government is a pack of dicks. A shower of cunts. They're called the Law and Justice Party. And they're, I think it's their Supreme Court, but basically a lot of their Supreme Court is kind of like these sort of puppets of the government. And they have, do you know about this? You do know about this. They've tried to push in, they've already got shit for abortion legislation. tiny amount of cases you're allowed. And the most cases where people have legal abortions in Poland are in the case of fatal fetal abnormality. The Supreme Court have just banned that, which is insane.
And wasn't there the biggest rally ever last week?
Apparently it was the biggest rally ever. And then my boss at work today was like, since 1989. So apparently that one was, there's something. But yeah, people in Warsaw have gone absolutely. People in Poland are just like, fuck this. This is nonsense, which is great and like super inspiring. And like the drone footage was amazing. And now the government are like, they're not basically pushing through this law just yet. So they're trying to find some kind of like bullshit compromise. It's bad. It
is insane. And what if you live in Berlin or Germany?
So if you live in Berlin, there are lots of, as you probably know, awesome Polish people who live in Berlin. And they also, a lot of those people are cool abortion rights activists. There's one group. What did you say it was called? Because I can't remember it now. Because I can't remember. Dziewuchy Berlin. They are a big Polish pro-choice organisation. They're very much for sort of campaigning. You can support them. They're also having a protest, a techno protest. Hermannplatz tomorrow at 3, between 3 and 6. Obviously wear your masks and keep your distance, but yes. And there's also another group in Poland that you can give some money to called Trosza Basza, who help people in Poland, because even before this law, it's like basically impossible. It's basically like the law was in Ireland before the referendum. So a lot of Polish people who want abortions and need abortions come to Berlin, and Trosza Basza kind of facilitates that.
Oh yeah. Okay. And
we
you
can
can
put
donate
some
to
links.
Them. You will put some links up.
In the, what do people say on podcasts? In the show notes. I know we keep saying this. We don't know what show notes are, but there'll be links.
Well, I'll put them in the comments of the when I put it on Facebook, something like that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm drunk already.
Good. That's what I always do. All right,
that's the shit show of the neighbours to the right and left of us. What's happening
stuck in the middle.
Stuck in the middle.
With you.
But only with you, because we're two households.
We are only two. What's been happening in Germany? Well, a lot of people have become infected with the coronavirus. We got very complacent in the summer because we had the lowest numbers in the whole of Europe.
Oh, we got all excited, didn't we?
And we thought, it's fine. Doesn't seem
Corona's gone. It's summertime now.
It does not touch the German people.
But alas.
Alas, we are not exceptional. And now, about 6 weeks ago, Merkel did a big press conference warning that that we could have numbers like in France. And at the time, France had 19,000 cases a day. And in Germany, we had 2,500 a day.
This press conference where people are like, no, but our numbers are really low. And she was like, I'm going to explain to you with my PhD and having run this fucking country for however many years, what exponential means.
Right. And what did she say? What does exponential mean?
It gets bigger all the time.
It doubles in a certain period of time.
Yeah.
Right. And and when she said that, she was like, if things grow at the rate they are growing then we will be at the level of France at 19,000 a day by Christmas. Today is the 6th of November, and we are at 21,000. Well
done, lads. She said it could be done, we've done it in fucking half the time. What's the opposite of exponential? We've halved it.
We've speeded up. We've done exponential squared. Whatever that is.
Right. Well done, everyone. So, much like the rest of Europe, we've gone into some form of, and I'm really enjoying, my friend was texting me the other day being like, I'm really enjoying all the different like terminology. Like she was like reading, she's in Ireland. She was like, you're in lockdown light? What's that? Like normal lockdown, but with half the calories? What the fuck?
Diet lockdown.
Diet lockdown. They've got a circuit breaker or tier 3.
Right.
Ireland's on level 5. Anyway, lockdown light. What's that about?
That means that pretty much everything is open except for restaurants and cafes and obviously clubs and places like that.
Yeah.
But that is, you can't, all the shops are still open. Mm-hmm. And there were new rules about like how many people you can meet outside and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't. Do you want me to go into it? It's really boring. It's like everyone knows the rules. It's like 5.
You would think.
It's like 5 people. I can't even remember what it is.
It's 2 households basically. Quite interestingly, there's not specific guidance that I can find about like indoors, but basically 2 households.
Right.
Which, if you are a person living by yourself, I think is a little tough.
And nichtsdestotrotz, the Querdenker movement has also grown exponentially over the summer. They're now listed. They're the big, or the movement of anti-lockdown measure movement, or whatever you want to call it. And they are doing big rallies still, despite all this. And they're doing a big rally tomorrow in Leipzig. They're expecting nearly 20,000 people to come to that. Although then they revised their numbers down because they realised that the authorities were going to impose even more restrictions on their demo.
So what are the restrictions on demos now? And also, why are we still... I mean, I understand why we're still letting these people demonstrate, but they're not... The whole point is they're protesting the measures, so they're not going to stick to the measures. Yeah,
well, the measures are, they have to wear a mask, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be in a space where each person can have 6 square meters to themselves. So so they have to measure how much space they're in, and then they have to estimate how many people are going to come, and then they have to be in a space that allows enough space. They also, I like the rules actually, it's really German. They also, they're allowed banners, but they have to be a maximum of 2 meters long, and they have to be made out of soft wood and Vollmaterial. I don't even know what that is. Vollmaterial and Weichholz. That's what their banners are allowed to be made of. They're not allowed to pass out flyers.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to have fireworks, obviously, because that's mad. And but they are allowed to have candles as long as they are not handelsübliche candles, like candles you can buy in a shop, not like special candles you've made yourself or something. I don't know.
What? This is real life. I say it for the millionth time this year.
And one of the other things is that they wanted to have the rally in central Leipzig, but because they said they were expecting so many people, the authorities said, no, you can't have it there. And now they have to go and stand in a car park near the Messe, which is out of town. And
yes.
So if you fancy spending a November afternoon in a car park, go down to Leipzig and meet like-minded people.
It's a metaphor for something, that.
Yeah, so...
In the car park of the Messe of life. Wow. Okay.
But the thing is, though, that I mean, I joke about it, but the thing is, the people of Germany are certainly a lot more sympathetic to the anti-coronavirus lockdown measures than they were in the spring. Like now, well, they don't. I mean, they're still like worried about the virus, but loads more people are very critical of the measures against it, especially because they seem.
Yeah, I don't think that's
unfair.
the same as sympathizing with like the Querdenker.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because there's some people that are having like an absolutely horrendous time in terms of their livelihoods, and
especially like freelancers and artists and theatre people. Theatres are all, and cinemas and the gastronomy business and the hotel business are all like really suffering in many different ways. And I mean, you have a lot of sympathy with that as well, because it's not really fair, because if you own a shop, it's all right to open your shop, but if you run a cinema, you're not allowed to open your shop. It does seem unfair. And so you might be wondering, what does German law say about this? And a lot of
I'm always wondering that. What does the Grundgesetz say about this in most situations?
Yeah.
Name a situation I'm wondering about the German law.
Because there have already been literally thousands of lawsuits against these measures about based on certain principles, because people feel like it's very unfair.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the lawyers and the jurists of the country are basically catching up with what the implications of these measures are, and trying to figure out if the relevant law, it's called the infection protection law, is enough to cover all these things.
Because they brought that law in, am I right in thinking, relatively, like as a result of or was it already there? The infection protection.
No, it's been around since like 2000 or something.
Okay. But they weren't, well, maybe they were preparing for this. They fucking should have been. That was presumably why it went.
Oh, yeah. There is a document from like, I think it's 2013, which you can download from the internet, all about, it's basically the government's official action plan in the case of various pandemics.
Yeah, because they have been
disasters.
predicting this obviously for like ages, and everyone was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and so there are these. There are yeah. So the thing is, though, there's like these different parts of the German constitution which protect your rights. Like you have a right as a German citizen to assemble.
Yes.
In public, no matter what. Like,
yes.
Even if it's in a car park, you're still assembling.
You
still have that. Like, it's very difficult to restrict those rights, and you also have a right to equality. Mm-hmm. And so these lawsuits are based on that. They're sort of saying, well, if it's not fair that theatres are shut, but hairdressers are open. But trumping all this is the first article of the German Constitution, which is that human dignity shall be inviolable. Oh. And that is very much tied to human life. So the argument is that if you're protecting human life, if you're protecting people from dying, you can trump all the other rights in certain cases. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not. This is obviously not a constitutional legal way of putting it, but that's sort of.
I think you're doing quite well.
That's sort of basically
based on the.
And but there have been the courts have been growing more confident about questioning a lot of the lockdown measures. And in Baden-Württemberg, they overturned the ban on hotel stays. So in Baden-Württemberg, the hotels had to all close, and a court overturned that ban and said that's not fair. Yeah, are based on this proportionality principle. Like they're allowed to they accept the principle that the government can protect public health, but at the same time, the court is allowed to check that. Yeah, and so that has been happening. And so things are happening. Yeah,
this I actually think is very healthy. This is what should be happening in a democratic state that is having in a time of this, which is like absolute crisis, and they're having to put in these measures. There should be a checks and balances system where they can go, yeah, but hang on, what about the fucking theatres? If you're letting MediaMarkt turn over how many millions every whatever, what about the noise off? I think that's okay that this is happening. That's what a functioning sort of democracy and looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
What's become deeply problematic though is then because of this polarization in sort of society, it gets lumped in maybe. It becomes so taboo to question the regulations and everything because you've got people who are literally denying the virus, telling it's Soros, trying to plant a chip in our heads, QAnon, we're all murdering babies, that whole thing, which is super gaining traction. We have to take this seriously now. They've just elected somebody, I don't know in which exact place in America, but they have a QAnon fully supporting person. Because of that, it skews our perception, or certainly maybe I'm just talking about my perception of people who want to go to court and challenge these things, which is completely within their rights. And they're not necessarily saying, we don't believe in this pandemic and fuck you. They're just hey, we think these laws are really unfair and we'd also not to go out of business. Yeah. And that should be. Yeah, and also, I mean, if there are a lot of business are getting bailed out, and a lot of businesses are getting help from the state, and others aren't. It's easier for you to get a direct loan if you run a little factory. If you're fucking Lufthansa, or
so there's so a lot of people think that if the government made it easier for certain businesses to get money to get through a crisis, then it would be there'd be a lot fewer complaints. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and that I think that's good. And I think we gotta let people protest. The only problem is, but it's this kind of catch-22 situation with the anti-corona protesters is
they're not going to keep the measures because that's what they're protesting.
Yeah. Well, that's that. If they don't keep to the measures, then they have to go to the car park. That's how it works.
The car park of the Messer.
The mess.
Got rid of the car park. Right. What else is happening? This is delicious. I'm liking this.
Yeah, I'm having a whale of a time.
I missed this. It's so fun.
What was the next thing on your list? I've forgotten already.
So either we wrote a list and you allowed me to choose the thing, but we could talk about CDU, leadership race, or guns, exclamation point. And I didn't really fully listen to you when you were telling me what that was before.
Right. I'll do the gun thing because
who doesn't want to finish with the CDU?
Yeah, exactly. So have you heard of the Centre for Political Beauty?
Only because you told me it earlier.
Okay. They are a political art action group. They do a lot of you could call them pranks, but they also have they was a quite serious and quite good. I mean, I like them. They also put they put like thousands of crosses out in front of the front of the Bundestag.
Yes.
To symbolize all the people that were dying in the Mediterranean and stuff.
Yes. Okay. So yeah.
They also they built a little because of Björn Höcke from the AFD.
Yes, he's that ex-history teacher. He's my baddest lad in the whole damn land.
He's the one who said the thing about 180 degrees about, I
remember that.
And no other country has a monument of shame in its... so they...
Maybe don't fucking perpetrate the Holocaust then, you dicks.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was brought to you by 3/4 of a Megacan at 6 p.m.
So the Centre for Political Beauty built a mini Holocaust monument outside his house in Saxony, where he lives. In Thuringen.
He's in Thuringen, I know, because my friend is a very cool person from Thuringen, also a teacher, and she's enraged by him.
Right. So what they did this week, last week, was they put those big bins that for recycling clothes that you see sometimes. They put 2 of them outside the Kanzleramt and said, if anyone has seen any of these missing weapons, please return them in here. And there was a big...
You tweeted about this, and because it's 2020, I assumed that was a legit thing by the Bundeswehr. Well, it's kind of also, I think, because of I'm reading my Good Friday Agreement book, and it's kind of like this decommissioning thing where a priest and a minister would watch them give up their guns. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like a gun amnesty thing. But it's funny you should say that he couldn't tell if it was serious or not, because that is the sort of point of the ZPS, their actions, that you can't always tell if they mean it seriously or not.
So the Bundeswehr are missing a load of guns.
Yeah,
that's
weapons,
not
quite
great
a lot of
news.
things.
Where do you think those are?
Well, that's the big question. Because we're talking about something like 75,000 rounds of ammunition, 60 kilos of explosives, about 24 automatic rifles, and also kind of tubes you use to fire missiles from planes.
What?
They're quite a lot of things. Right.
We're getting really worried if the remote controls for our new beamers go in work. What are you at?
But
Bundeswehr.
This is a bit worrying, especially things like the automatic rifles, because you could, and the explosive. And this is over the last 10 years, they've lost all this stuff. And the thing is, a couple of years ago, you might remember there was a lot of talk about prepper groups.
Yes.
In Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, who were linked to the army. There was a big conspiracy. It was called the Hannibal Network that they kind of discovered. And a lot of them were stockpiling weapons, and a lot of them were either army officers, police, judges. They were the kind of mixture of different security forces, and they had hoard some guns. Now the ZBS, their action, they kind of tied those two things together. They kind of said well, where could they be? They're probably being hoarded by underground far right networks in the security forces, especially in the army, and there are such security like networks of far right extremists in the security forces, as we kind of keep finding out. And the other thing is that the military's intelligence service is called the MAD, MAD, they're kind of responsible for tracking extremists in the army. That's their job, right? Like the same way as the Verfassungsschutz tracks Islamists and Nazis and stuff. The MAD does that in the army. That's their
Okay.
So, and it turned out one of these the time that this Hannibal himself, who was an army officer who had been stockpiling weapons illegally, and they kind of found them in his house, or like buried in his garden, basically. That he had a contact in the MAD, so that the MAD felt like it seemed like to be compromised a little bit. So the ZPS was basically drawing attention to this problem.
Yeah.
And saying, but then I wrote about it, and I kind of think that I think it's a really good thing that they're drawing attention to this situation.
Yeah.
But I also think that a lot of these weapons could have got lost anywhere. I mean, like a lot of the rounds of ammunition could have just got lost when they were shooting some guns in Afghanistan or something. You know, they could have been lost. It's not necessarily all extremists.
Yes.
The army is the German army is like in foreign operations as well around the world.
Yeah.
And they could have just been stolen or something. Like it is like I'm not saying it's not a problem, but I think that it's not necessarily.
We don't want to like
guns.
overblow
Yeah.
things, but also that's still like quite a lot.
I did actually once, because they count all the rounds of ammunition they fire.
Yeah.
And I once went to a military, like a display, like they did a little show for Merkel of like what the Bundeswehr could do. And they built a little pontoon bridge and ran over
Blew it up.
No, they drove a tank over it, and then they, pretended to rescue someone, and they flew in helicopters. It was a little like show. And afterwards, us journalists who had been invited, we could like wander around a little bit on the thing and talk to the soldiers and everything.
Yeah.
And they said like, do not pick up any of because they'd fired blanks during the thing.
Yeah.
So do not pick up any shell casings or anything you find. You will be arrested. Because that is like, you're not allowed to, even like empty shell casings, you can't just take them because they count them.
Yeah, journos, hands off those.
Yeah.
Fucking.
And it was quite
2
tempting.
dozen, semi-automatic rifles. Well,
Yeah.
who really knows where everything is?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I understand things go missing. We've just moved school buildings, and I've like lost a box with like stuff in it, but that's like some board markers and some documents about GCSEs. It's not a fucking semi-automatic weapon.
Well, it's a fully automatic weapon.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, because they're quite bad. I mean, it's like anyway, so they did that.
There's just so much. Isn't that making me think of like the horrible attacks that have happened in Vienna?
Oh, yeah.
There was that teacher murdered a few months ago.
Yeah.
I feel drunk now. Oh, it's a good time to talk about the fucking CDU. Let's not forget that. I've not even tried not to swear in this episode. It's fucking 2020. I don't fucking care anymore.
Right. CDU.
First of all, can I just say, right, and I know I say this all the time, Angela Merkel, not a fan politically, but just as a person, as like a human, I want more than anything to drink a Megacan with her. Really. Her and or Dolly Parton. Can you imagine, right? You are coming up to retirement. You have been like, right, we can do this. It's all getting weird. Trump, you have to talk to Donald Trump like a world colleague. That's shit. You elect a leader, your party elects a leader to follow you that you're kind of okay with. She turns out to be a bit shit, doesn't go anywhere. You do all this. And then in your last year before fucking retirement, the universe throws 2020 at you. That is unfair. She should just be like riding it out, cutting about, kissing babies. But no, she's fucking explaining exponential to us. And like,
I know. It's like, do you remember Obama's last year? He was just like coasting along doing chat shows and everything.
Yeah.
He had a really nice last year.
Yes. I feel like that's what Merkel wants, but no, she's in a fucking mask.
Trying to stop people dying, and then everyone's like, "Oh, well, why are you a lizard?"
What?
Everyone thinks it's a big conspiracy, and she's the head of it, and I don't know. It is weird.
I know. So anyway, props to Angie for not having absolutely lost her shit. Because, like, honestly, I can barely cope. Anyway, so the CDU, she's obviously going.
Yeah.
Probably fucking gratefully. And she's also looking at this pantomime of clowns coming behind her.
Right. So they still haven't decided who's going to be the next leader of the CDU. They
no.
were going to decide in early December, but they have postponed the CDU party conference until January now. I don't know what difference that's going to make, but anyway. And the candidates are annoyed, especially one Friedrich Merz, who you might recall.
Yeah, I don't love him.
Well, do you know who does love him? The Junge Union.
I read this. It was the young CDU conference that you went to a few years ago.
Yeah.
And some of the merch that they gave you was a CDU branded glasses cleaning, one of those little things.
That was really
and
useful.
I have never seen such a perfect symbol of something in my life. It's like, wow, I work with young people and I've never seen them clean their glasses. Like, they wear trendy glasses. Like, what? Who's doing that?
I'm glad you reminded me of that. I wonder where that's gone.
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Because I always have glasses cleaning problems.
Well.
Anyway, yeah. They've the Junge Union, who are the youth organisation of the CDU, have endorsed...
Oxymoron, if ever there was one.
Have endorsed Friedrich Merz to be the next leader.
Overwhelmingly.
Yeah. So, and then because they postponed the CDU party conference, Merzi says it was because of him, because he was building up momentum in the leadership race, and Armin Laschet and the other one, Norbert Röttgen, who no one knows who he is. Yeah,
but we kind of want Röttgen, I think, he's again best of a bad bunch, no?
Well, he's like the most Merkel-like one. He's like, he looks a bit like Penfold.
Yes, get him in.
And he's the head of the... he used to be environment minister, I think, or something.
Ah.
And he is the head of the foreign policy committee in the Bundestag at the moment. And yeah.
Anyway.
Whereas, so he they're all angling for it, and Merz says he has the most momentum. So he gave like all these interviews when they postponed it, saying, "Oh, it's because of me, because I was going to win, and they don't like me." He was doing like a Trump. He was doing like is it because people don't like me?
Can we just not let any more egotistical old white rich dudes run shit?
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking shit show. I think they want more people to enter the race, to be honest. That's my theory. Everyone wants Spahn in.
Yeah, well, Spahn.
Jens Spahn.
Yeah, because he was already a candidate.
Is he not doing a terrible job as health minister? Is he all right? I mean, you have to compare him to Matt Hancock, who looks like a startled sort of chipmunk.
Yeah. I don't... Like, it is funny, isn't it? Because health minister is one ministry where you think,
God,
he's not going to be in the news very much.
Again, it's one of those things where they get the job and you're like, last year of retirement. Oh, health minister, sweet. Build up my political chops. I'm only like, what's Jens Spahn? Like all CDU people, he looks like he was born at the age of about 45, but I don't think he's actually 45 yet.
No.
And he's just like cutting about, yeah. And then they're like, oh, hello, it's 2020. You're going to be like super important.
Yeah. You
right.
have to coordinate the nation's response to a deadly pandemic.
Great.
And so, yeah, no one knew who he was because he was a candidate a couple of years ago when they were trying to choose the next CDU leader. And he lost quite handily.
Yeah.
And now I guess he would have more chance because he's had more of a political profile. He's also had the coronavirus, which I don't know, is that an advantage or a disadvantage in the CDU leadership race?
No fucking idea, mate.
So has Merz. In fact, Merz and Spahn have both had it.
Röttgen, what you at? Come on, go get yourself a wee dose so we can judge you on your in the sort of top trumps card of the CDU thing. How well did they cope with the corona?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But it's not. So the alternative, of course, is Markus Söder of the CSU.
What? I was just about to say, well, we've got to maybe the end of my list and I'm feeling relatively fine, drunk, but fine. And now you put bloody Surtur in there. Mind you, Surtur, I really got to like him because he was very into the Corona Maßnahmen when everyone else was being a mentalist, including Laschet, who was like, let us all be free. And I'm like, no, people will die. Yeah. And Surtur was in his little Bavarian flag mask, I remember, cutting about, doing press conferences, getting beautiful backdrop of Bavaria, which is very lovely. But I don't like him, do I? Remotely. He's awful. He's very...
probably don't know.
No.
But you probably... I think Merkel likes him the best out of all the possible people who could be Chancellor candidate. But the only problem is he's not in her party. He's in the CSU.
How does that work?
Well, they can choose a CSU. It's not happened very often, but they can choose a CSU to be the Chancellor candidate and have a leader of the CDU separately. Yeah, the last time it was happened was in 2000 something, was this old fella who stood against Schröder and lost. I've forgotten his name now. Anyway, that was the last time it's happened, and it doesn't happen very often. Because it really has to be someone. It has to be someone that the CDU really, really likes. Like the base of the CDU really, really likes.
I just don't want it to be Merz. Like, anybody but Merz. He is a bad boy. He's all money. He's going to be a little mini German Trump, and I won't have it.
Yeah, he thinks
Except that I don't have a say because I'm a foreigner and I don't have a vote.
No.
And that, again, is utter fucking bullshit. What else do I need to do? Pay like 39% in like health insurance and taxes, which I'm happy to do. I've educated myself about German politics. I have a fucking podcast about politics. Let me fucking vote.
I think you should use this podcast when you apply for citizenship. Are you going to use this podcast?
I can't apply for citizenship because...
Well, maybe they can fast track you if you've done a podcast about German politics. No, it's
because they have this ludicrous rule, which is other thing. Like, okay, so lots of countries have this, like, you have to be a citizen to vote. Cool. But Germany you have to have only one citizenship.
Right.
Unless it's EU, then you can have dual ones because those are EU rules. I have Canadian citizenship, so that will fuck with that. Can't get up the Canadian citizenship, never want to live in Canada, but climate change. Northern Canada is going to be my sweet escape.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that.
Where I'm going to go and repopulate the earth with a feminist socialist agenda.
In Newfoundland or somewhere.
Yes. Right. Or none of it.
Right. So what?
I don't know. I think I'm just very excited because I haven't seen you for a month. I've had a new Mega. I didn't have a huge amount of lunch. And now I'm just like really red in the face and like screaming about Canada. Is that it?
That's all the news. Yeah, we haven't got anything else to talk about.
That's not even all the news. That's the problem. That's like a small section of the absolute...
We haven't scratched the surface of the news.
No, not even scratched the scummy, wobbling surface of this blancmange of horror. Any positives?
I don't know. Biden's taken the lead in Pennsylvania and Georgia.
Has he? That's good.
He's ahead in Pennsylvania now too, by about 10,000 votes.
I'll tell you though, like the youth are, I mean, not the CDU youth with their glasses cleaners, like, but they're like not my year 7 class decorated their classroom today. Because they have to stay in their classroom now because of Corona. So we're trying to be like, oh, you can decorate it. They put up a big pride flag and then made homemade signs that said Black Lives Matter and eat the homophobes.
Eat them? Yeah. Okay.
So proud.
Well, thanks very much.
On that note, go and get yourselves a little Jim Beam honey and ginger ale. It's a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And it's got a nice like honeycomb. I do think a honeycomb is just, bees are amazing.
And it soothes the throat even while it gets you going.
Yeah, it really has. Anyway, Thank you, everyone, very much for listening. Thank you also to one of our lovely listeners who sort of concernedly sent a message.
Thomas on Facebook. Hi, Thomas. He asked us if we were going to make another podcast ever again, and here we are. So
I hope that was in a hopeful kind of like. I hope you are, rather than like, am I finally free of this? Trying to get some closure from the horror we've inflicted on you. But either way, thank you very much. It's nice to know that
some people are listening.
Some people are listening. It is. It's really nice.
Bye. Bye. Come on. Wind it up now.
Bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend. Keep your distance and drink your megas.
Bye.
Bye.